Hello viewers, in the last video we studied about RB gene, which is a tumor suppressor gene. It is also called as governor of proliferation. Today we are going to study about TP53 gene, which is a tumor suppressor gene, and it is called as guardian of the genome. It regulates cell cycle progression, cellular senescence and apoptosis. It is located on chromosome 17, P arm of chromosome 17, and it is most frequently mutated gene in human cancers. The loss of function mutations are seen in more than 50% of cancers, and this is seen in various types of cancers including carcinoma lung, colon, breast. And in most cases the mutations are present in both TP53 alleles and are acquired in somatic cells. And less commonly, the individuals inherit a mutated copy of TP53 gene, and these individuals, just like the RB gene, the individual who inherit the mutated copy of RB gene, just like these individuals, they are prone to develop malignant tumors because they already have the first hit. They already have the mutated copy of the gene, tumor suppressor gene, in this case TP53 gene, and only a second hit is required to completely abrogate the activity of TP53 gene. The individuals with inherited TP53 mutations are said to have Li-Fraumeni syndrome. These individuals have 25-fold increased chance of developing malignant tumors by age 50 years as compared to the general population. And the spectrum of tumors that develop in patients with Li-Fraumeni syndrome is broad. This is in contrast to patients who have germline mutation in the RB gene. The spectrum here is broad. The patients develop sarcomas, breast carcinoma, leukemias, brain tumors, carcinoma of adrenal cortex. And the patients with Li-Fraumeni syndrome develop cancer at younger age, and they are likely to have multiple primary tumors of varying types. Now TP53 encodes protein P53, and this gene plays a critical role in prevention of cancer development. And this P53, it lies at a center of large network of signals that sense cellular stress, particularly DNA damage, shortened telomeres, hypoxia, stress caused by excessive pro-growth signals. If there are mutations in the RAS, MYC proto-oncogene, then they will cause excessive pro-growth signals. And this is also a cause of stress, oncogenic stress. Now the T53, it prevents malignant transformation by causing cell cycle arrest, by causing cellular senescence, by causing apoptosis. What happens in non-stressed cells or normal cells? The action of P53 is inhibited by MDM2 family of genes. These encode enzymes that degrade P53. These enzymes ubiquitinate P53, and the P53 is then degraded by the proteasomes. So in normal cells, the levels of P53 are very low. They are virtually undetectable. Now in some tumors, the loss of function mutation in TP53 gene is not seen. Instead, mutations in genes that affect the function of P53 are there. For example, MDM2 is amplified in 33% of sarcomas, and this leads to functional deficiency of P53. Also, similar to RB gene, transforming proteins of DNA viruses E6 of high risk HPV, which has a causative role in cervical carcinoma and a subset of squamous cell carcinoma of head and neck. It binds P53 and promote its degradation. Now let us see the mechanism by which P53 is released from the inhibitory effect of MDM2. In stress cells, p53 is released from the inhibitory effect of MDM2 by two major mechanisms depending upon the nature of the stress. If the stress is DNA damage and hypoxia, then the activation of p53 is initiated by ATM and ATR. ATM is 8-axia-telangiectasia mutated and ATR is 8-axia-telangiectasia and RAD3 related. These are related protein kinases. ATM was originally identified in individuals with 8-axia-telangiectasia, which is caused by germline mutations in ATM. The affected patients have inability to repair certain kinds of DNA damage and have increased incidence of cancer. Now, both ATM and ATR stimulate the phosphorylation of p53 and MDM2, and this post-translational modification disrupt the binding and degradation of p53 by MDM2, and this leads to accumulation of p53 in the cells. Now, what happens when there is oncogenic stress? So the activation of oncoproteins such as RAS leads to sustained signaling through pro-growth signaling pathways, MAP kinase and PI3K AKT cascades. This creates a cellular stress, and this leads to increased expression of p14 ARF, which is encoded by tumor suppressor gene CDKN2A. The p14 ARF then binds MDM2 and displaces p53. So p53 is now free from the association with MDM2. So p53 level accumulates or it increases in the cell. So the level of p53 then rises and it activates the transcription of hundreds of target genes. These target genes fall into three major categories: genes that cause cell cycle arrest, genes that cause apoptosis, genes that enhance the catabolic metabolism or inhibit the anabolic metabolism. Now let us study about the outcomes that can occur when p53 accumulates in the cell with the help of a diagram. So let's study the outcomes of p53 accumulation and the role of p53 in maintaining the integrity of genome. Now this is normal cell in which p53 is normal. Now when it encounters ionizing radiation, carcinogens, mutagens, there is DNA damage, and also oncogenic stress and hypoxia. They lead to p53 accumulation, and this p53 binds to DNA. There is transcription dependent and independent effects on the targets. Now first is the transient p53 induced cell cycle arrest. This occurs late in G1 phase and it is caused by p53 dependent transcription of CDKN1A gene, which encodes p21, which is CDK inhibitor, and this inhibits the cyclin D CDK4 complex. And inhibition of this complex ensures that RB remains in active hypophosphorylated state, and in this state RB inhibits the cell cycle progression from G1 to S phase. So cell cycle arrest occurs. Also p53 induces GAD45 proteins. So these are growth arrest and DNA damage. So the arrest in the cell cycle gives time for the cell to repair DNA. Now if the DNA repair occurs successfully, then the cell reverts back to its normal state. So when successful repair is there, the signals that caused p53 to accumulate, they stop, the levels of p53 fall, and the cell then reverts back to its normal state, or the cell cycle progresses. The second outcome is p53 induced senescence. The senescence is different from reversible cell cycle arrest. It is characterized by specific changes in cell morphology and gene expression which differentiate it from reversible cell cycle arrest. There is epigenetic silencing of genes that are required for progression of the cell cycle. So the senescent cells cannot divide and they cannot transform into tumors, or they cannot become tumorous. Third is p53 induced apoptosis. This is the ultimate protective mechanism against neoplastic transformation. So there is P53 induced transcription of several pro-apoptotic genes such as Bax puma, which cause apoptosis by the intrinsic pathway or the mitochondrial pathway. So apoptosis of cell occurs. Now what happens when there is loss of P53, cell with mutations or loss of P53? When it encounters these ionizing radiation carcinogens, then there is DNA damage and P53 dependent genes are not activated, or the target genes are not activated. There is no cell cycle arrest, no DNA repair, no senescence. Mutant cells then appear, and expansion and additional mutation cause the malignant transformation. So there is formation of malignant tumor. Now what determines whether the cell cycle arrest occurs or the cell becomes senescent or there is death by apoptosis? Both the duration and the level of P53 activation may be the deciding factors whether cell cycle arrest occurs or cell becomes senescent or death by apoptosis occurs. Now once cancer is established, the P53 status of the cells must be known because it has therapeutic implications. For the treatment of cancer, the modalities used are conventional chemotherapy and irradiation. These are the most commonly used modalities, and they mediate their effect by causing DNA damage and subsequent apoptosis. Now the cells that have wild type TP53 alleles or the cells that have intact P53 function, they respond very well to these modalities as compared to cells that have lost P53 function. As we see in the childhood ALL and the testicular germ cell tumors, they have wild type TP53 alleles, so they respond very well to these modalities. In contrast, the tumors like carcinoma lung, colorectal carcinomas, they frequently have TP53 mutations, so they are resistant to treatment by conventional chemotherapy and irradiation. So they are resistant to these modalities. Now if the cell has TP53 mutation, then it develops mutator phenotype, which means that the cell has an increased tendency to accumulate mutation, or the mutations accumulate at a higher rate. So in today's video we studied about TP53, which is a tumor suppressor gene. In the next video we will be studying about other tumor suppressor genes. I hope you like the video. For more such videos, please subscribe my channel and do not forget to like and share my videos. Thanks for watching.